Today we are going behind the scenes on how I create event videos with a one-day turnaround. So basically in layman terms is you shoot for one day, the next day you edit it and deliver it the following day. I'm going to share with you guys how I prep, shoot and edit by myself. So the first thing out of the way, gears. I use the Sony FX3 with the ZV-E1. The FX3 over there that I'm shooting on right now, I pair it with my power zoom 1635. So this is the 1635 power zoom from Sony. The barrel doesn't extend when I zoom in or out, which is the best when you're flying gimbal. Talking about gimbal, I have mine here. This is my super old DJI RS2 Pro. This has been with me for about a good 3 years. But the one thing that it didn't get an upgrade, usually I love to just press the trigger to record, but for the RS2 Pro it's kind of outdated, so I run a cable to attach it to the gimbal so that I can control my camera's recording with this button. I wanted a B camera for my FX3 and the FX3 has a full frame sensor, so first thing first I thought of keeping my form factor small, so I got my first ZV-E1. And it's a perfect brother camera to the FX3. Pairing with the ZV-E1 is my hardly used 7200 GM Mark II. There are two reasons why I bring two camera bodies for this case. One, because I'm a solo shooter and I will tend to be switching lenses and you kind of waste a lot of time. Two is to have a backup camera. Just in case your main camera screws up, at least you have that other camera to work for you throughout the whole event. So gear is done, moving on. Okay, so we are heading to the location right now. Oh, I think I found it. Good morning.
Morning.
Yo. On the day itself, when I get to the event, first thing I do is to scout the place. And I will look out for three things. First would be the lighting. Where is the best lighting areas gonna be, so I can frame up for those kind of shots. And second is where key moments will happen. The stage, which part of the stage, and maybe registration area. And last but not least would be how am I going to move around discreetly without disturbing the whole event. Knowing this ahead of time really saved me the time and the stress. Once the recce is done, I will be setting up my camera. That usually takes about 5 minutes. The main thing here is to balance my gimbal, align all my camera settings because I have two cameras. When I shoot solo, I usually prioritize the safety shots first. So for the first half of the event, I will get my wide shots, medium shots and tight shots. And the next half of the event, I will kind of take myself out of the generic event mindset and think about how can I make this event more personal, a little bit more special and creative. So this is where I'll usually take my camera and put it in places that I don't usually shoot. Like example, one shot is maybe to put the camera as a POV to the chest of the registrator and showing the POV of them giving the tickets to the participants. I think that really helps to take you away from the generic events kind of look. One thing that I use when I'm shooting events with a rush timeline, I will shoot with an edit in mind. The reason for this is to eliminate all the second guesses you have on the shoot. For example, I know that I'm going to be shooting speakers. Getting shots of the speakers is very easy. You will just be below the stage and capturing the hero shots of all speakers. But one thing that I know is I want to get some shots of their reactions from the participants. So I will just pan my camera and zoom in, catching all those reactions that happens during that event. And that is essential for me when I'm editing because there's always a cause and effect. So there is an speaker talking and the audience having a good time absorbing the knowledge. And this makes the editing process so much easier. We are done in the video. And now the event is done, we can finally throw our footage all into Premiere Pro. Let me show you how I organize and craft the final video. First thing first is my music tracks. Music tracks really makes or break the event video. Whenever I'm sourcing assets, I tend to find from Motion Array, which is this video sponsor. Motion Array has been my go-to one-stop place for asset sourcing. There are a lot of things you can pick from within this one site, so I can basically find everything from music, sound effects, motion graphic templates, LUTs, and even voiceovers. If you think these are good, wait till you hear Motion Array's new features coming out this year. They're also adding more creative assets such as LUTs and fonts. They can even take control of your AI voiceovers with new voiceover direction features. Soon they will have the generative AI features which are gonna push off creative boundaries off charts. So it's best to check it out right now. For this video, I want to have a high energy positive music. Go over to the music tab, go over to mood, I'll check fun and check upbeat. Sort by newest. I wanted to always try to find new artists and new sound. We can have preview of the songs, and I love this layout because I can see their BPMs very clearly. So we have that. The music tracks are done. Step 2 is base selections. I know there's a lot of ways to organize footage, but this is just one of my ways that keeps my workflow a little bit more concise and easier. I'll basically go through my entire footage bin, highlighting each of the good enough clips that I want. Out of obvious footage, I will categorize them and label them. First is for intro shots. There are a lot of ways you can start a video, so I'll find all these potential intro shots in the whole bin, and I will just label it first. Second label are the main performance act, which are the speakers. So these are the very safe shots and hero shots of the speakers. Putting them all together, that's my second label. The third label is the reaction shots. These are moments of interactions and reactions. The last label is ending shots. It could be drone shots, group shots, logo. There's a lot of ways to do it, but for this event, there's a lot of group shots, so I wanted to use that as my ending shot. So a tip for the intro shots is best if you can showcase a space, has a sensing of what this event is good enough. Second, I will lay out all of my key event performance, which is the speakers for this case. After you are done laying out all the speaker shots, you can now take the third label, which is the reaction shots, sprinkle them across all the speaker shots. So I will have 2 to 3 speaker shots, and in between there are 2 to 3 shots of the audience. So it's good to have this breakage throughout the whole event. After the intro is done, the meat of the video is done, the ending is really just piling in all the group shots. So for this case, I will use a camera flash effect that kind of hints about this event's theme, which is cameras. So I'll use the camera flash to zoom out and have a very wide ending shots of the group together chanting the like woo. So this is a good ending for a video like this. So we have that. Now I just need to trim off the excess and position the clips to align to the beat drop. Technically, it's as easy as it is. The last thing I want to do is to bring in all the assets. I realized I have the flash effect at the end of the video, which is a transition effect. I wanted to have this sound that helps sell the effect of the camera flash. So I head on to sound effects tab, I search for camera flash. My last thing I want to try is putting in a LUT. Head on to the LUT segment. I think this super saturated LUT looks good. I'll just download it and apply it straight to my creative Lumetri color. The trick here is not to overcomplicate your editing. For this case, I just want the message to be very loud and clear. It's a whole community event, so it should look like that at the end of the day. And here's the final video. Yeah, I think that's it. So, thank you all. Bye.